Hey everyone, we're back again, and Matilda's going to be demoing bottom lift. This is on 4 springs. She will put her heels on the very outer edge of the bar here. I have seen people stand on their arches. I'm not a big fan of that, but if you've been taught that way and you like it, I mean, I'm all for it, right? So she's standing, just like in heel work, on the very, very edge of her calcaneus. She's in a very wide turnout as long as her pelvis can stay neutral. And then she's going to use the strength of her hips to hover her spine up off the mat. So this is not a tuck. This is basically a neutral position. And if I could just barely skim my hand kind of under her sacrum. And now on her inhale, she's going to expand her lungs up into the shoulder blocks to straighten those legs. And then exhale, widen the sitting bones to come back in. So she's going to move again the femur and the hip, and the knees are sort of an afterthought. And then she's going to widen her inner thigh sitting bones. The knees are an afterthought. So you can cue resist the straightening of the knees, resist the bending of the knees. So here again, we're building strength in our deep 6, because eventually we're going to stand up on the reformer to do gondola, and we better have this organized here, or it isn't going to be so much fun when we get on top of the reformer. So we'll do this 6 to 8 times. She'll come all the way back in, and then she'll just allow herself to either roll down or just plank back down. Yeah. Now, if somebody had like really great turnout and they just felt like that wasn't as satisfying, sometimes you can take their legs a little lower on the bar. You want to demo that, or am I demoing that? Okay. In other words, I have better turnout.
You are.
Well, that was very sneaky of you.
When you were talking about being able to turn out.
Right.
Right, and we were talking about how having a natural turnout is great so long as we're not hanging in the joint.
Like that's hanging.
Like that. And that happens
and that
if you're very flexible, especially dancers or gymnasts, very flexible in the hip joint. This is now hanging in the hip joint rather than muscularly supporting the femur bone in the hip joint.
Right.
So really watching for that. So what I will typically do for those people is I'll get them to start really narrow.
Okay.
I will get them to imagine that they're slurping their legs into the hip joint, and now use the musculature in the hip joint to rotate the femur bones to the point where it is now supported with muscle only, and you don't feel like the legs are hanging.
Right.
Now, if that's your range and you can hold and support that, then that's where your pickup is. And then she's going to inhale to stretch herself all the way out. And then exhale, she returns. Now, I do want to just quickly say, because I've been cued this, and it's out there a little bit.
Okay.
To corkscrew your legs, externally rotate and corkscrew your legs on the way out and on the way in. We don't cue that because as your hip joint extends, your leg should not be externally rotating. It actually comes back to more of a neutral position. Yeah. What you probably should be thinking is that as you inhale to stretch yourself out, just kind of let the legs kind of draw back into a neutral place. And as you return, that's when you're going to ask for more external rotation, more muscular support in the external rotation. And then on the out, on the inhale, just allow the legs to rotate back in. And it's not that we're asking for internal rotation. No. We're really just asking for the external rotators to release a little bit.
Exactly.
To allow the biomechanics of the body to actually
I was cued that not just in Pilates, but as a dancer as well.
Yeah.
And it just creates a lot of unnecessary tension in the hip joint. And we're never wanting to develop tension in any of these exercises. We're always looking for strength and mobility. So if you're doing that and you've been cued, this is a level 1 exercise. It's not really meant to be that difficult.
No.
It's really supposed to help create mobility and, of course, strengthen the deep 6. And the deep 6 cannot contract in both directions, like you were saying. It has to release at some direction. So obviously it's on the going out. Really good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.